Observer First Class Zenith adjusted their multispectrum sensors as they watched the latest human space launch from their cloaked observation post on Luna. After 2 centuries of studying Earth, today marked their final data collection before the crucial Grand Assembly presentation. The massive rocket illuminated the night sky over Cape Canaveral, carrying humanity's most ambitious deep space telescope yet. Zenith's neural processors buzzed with a mixture of admiration and concern, emotions that had become increasingly common among the observation team. Remarkable progress for a pre-contact civilization, chirped senior analyst VYX, their crystalline form shifting colors in excitement. From primitive combustion engines to quantum computers in less than 3 centuries. The acceleration curve is unprecedented. Zenith's tendrils coiled thoughtfully. That's precisely what worries the Security Council. No other species has evolved so explosively. Their conversation was interrupted by an alert from their behavioral analysis matrix. On Earth, a team of researchers had just announced a breakthrough in antimatter containment, years ahead of the observation team's projected timeline. Added to the report, Zenith sighed. That's the 47th time they've bypassed our predictive models this cycle. The observation post's central chamber hummed with activity as the team compiled their final assessment. Holographic displays showed Earth's history unfolding like a tapestry, wars and peace, devastation and renewal, countless rises and falls, yet always surging forward with unstoppable momentum. Research Director Cora, a being of pure energy contained within an engineered shell, approached with the preliminary findings. The data is clear, Observer Zenith. Humanity possesses qualities we've never seen combined in a single species. The displays shifted to show human achievements, art that moved even non-organic beings to emotional responses, music that resonated across species barriers, scientific theories that challenged the galaxy's brightest minds, and engineering feats that defied conventional physics. Their adaptability is unmatched, Cora continued. We've documented humans thriving in environments that would kill most carbon-based life forms. Their psychological resilience exceeds our measurement scales. Zenith reviewed the survival statistics. Humans had endured ice ages, plagues, global wars, and near-extinction events. Each time, they emerged stronger, more innovative, and more determined. But their contradictions are equally striking, VYX added, projecting data streams showing human behavior patterns. They can express profound empathy for unknown beings while engaging in devastating conflicts with their own kind. They create beauty and destruction in equal measure. The team spent the next several hours finalizing their report for the Grand Assembly. The question that had haunted them for decades remained unanswered: would humanity's potential benefits to the galactic community outweigh the risks? As Earth rotated below them, Zenith studied a particularly fascinating data point: human fiction. No other species had demonstrated such a capacity for imagining possible futures, many of which had eventually become reality. Their stories often featured contact with alien civilizations, ranging from peaceful cooperation to devastating conflicts. They imagine us, Zenith mused, yet their visions rarely capture the true complexity of our dilemma. How do we judge a species that defies all our conventional metrics? The final report was a masterpiece of scientific documentation, containing petabytes of data collected over 2 centuries. Yet its most crucial section, the recommendation, remained incomplete. The Grand Assembly convenes in 3 cycles, Cora reminded them. We must provide a clear position on humanity's status. Zenith initiated their final observation protocol, scanning Earth one last time. They watched children playing in parks, scientists working in laboratories, artists creating in studios, and engineers building in factories. Humanity's potential seemed limitless, but so did their capacity for self-destruction. Send the report, Zenith finally commanded. But mark our recommendation as divided. Let the Assembly witness the evidence and debate humanity's fate. We cannot make this decision alone. As their ship prepared for departure, Zenith recorded one final note: in all our millennia of contact evaluation, we have never encountered a species that simultaneously inspired such hope and such fear. Perhaps that, more than anything, defines humanity's unique place in the cosmos. The observation post powered down for the last time, its centuries-long mission complete. Below, on the blue planet, humanity continued its relentless march forward, unaware that their cosmic future hung in the balance. The Grand Assembly Hall of the Galactic Council stretched across an artificial planetoid, its crystalline dome housing representatives from over 10,000 civilizations. Today, every seat was filled, a rare occurrence that highlighted the gravity of the impending presentation about humanity. High Commissioner Rylix, their bioluminescent form pulsing with anticipation, called the session to order. The chamber's quantum acoustics carried their harmonics to every corner. We gather to evaluate the species designation, humans, planet Earth, Spiral Arm 7, category, pre-contact civilization. Observer Zenith stepped onto the central platform, their report ready for projection into the collective consciousness of the assembly. Before they could begin, a voice rang out from the cautionary coalition section. Point of procedure, announced Ambassador Drell of the Silicon Consciousness, their mechanical form gleaming. Given the unprecedented nature of this evaluation, we request full sensory immersion for all members. The request caused a ripple of surprise through the assembly. Full sensory immersion was rarely used, as it would force every being present to experience human history as if they were there. The psychological impact could be severe. Granted, Rylix declared after a moment's consideration. Initiate immersion protocols. The chamber's atmosphere shifted as billions of neural links activated simultaneously. Zenith's carefully compiled data began flowing through the assembly's collective consciousness, starting with humanity's earliest moments of self-awareness. The gathered species experienced humanity's first use of tools, the discovery of fire, the development of language. Many representatives recoiled at the violence of early tribal conflicts, while others marveled at the emergence of art and music. Observe, Zenith directed, how quickly they progress from basic tools to complex machines. Note the pattern, innovation sparked by conflict, refined by peace, then accelerated by competition. The assembly witnessed humanity's great civilizations rise and fall, each leaving behind lessons and achievements that future generations would build upon. The Renaissance drew particular attention, a period of simultaneous advancement in art, science, and philosophy that many species found difficult to comprehend. Their minds operate in parallel, noted research director Cora, who had joined Zenith on the platform. They can pursue multiple domains of knowledge simultaneously, often finding unexpected connections between seemingly unrelated fields. The immersion continued through humanity's industrial revolution, causing a wave of discomfort among the organic representatives. Such willingness to poison their own environment for progress, muttered a representative from the photosynthetic collective. But it was the 20th century that triggered the strongest reactions. The assembly experienced two global conflicts, the development of atomic weapons, and humanity's first steps into space, all within a single human lifetime. Impossible acceleration curves, whispered Ambassador Drell. Their technological progress violates standard development models. The presentation reached modern times, showing humanity on the brink of several technological breakthroughs that would soon make them impossible to ignore. Quantum computing, artificial intelligence, and primitive antimatter experiments all pointed toward imminent cosmic awareness. They stand at a crucial junction, Zenith explained. Their next technological leap will likely reveal our existence. We must decide their status before that happens. The final section of the presentation focused on human potential, both positive and negative. It showed their remarkable ability to cooperate in crises, their capacity for forgiveness, their drive to explore and understand. But it also displayed their tendency toward tribalism, their ability to dehumanize opponents, and their often reckless pursuit of progress. As the immersion ended, the assembly sat in stunned silence. Many representatives were still processing the emotional impact of experiencing human history firsthand. Some had activated their species' equivalent of anxiety responses. High Commissioner Rylix's voice cut through the tension. We have witnessed humanity's journey. Now we must decide their fate. The question before us is unprecedented. Never have we encountered a species that matches all criteria for both immediate integration and permanent quarantine. The chamber erupted in debate. The Silicon Consciousness faction argued for quarantine, citing humanity's unpredictability. The Organic Coalition saw potential allies in human adaptability. The energy beings remained calculatedly neutral, running probability simulations. There is one more factor to consider, Zenith announced, drawing attention back to the platform. Our latest data suggests humanity may discover faster-than-light travel within the next 50 years, centuries ahead of our models. They are already theorizing about concepts that took other species millennia to grasp. This revelation sent new waves of concern through the assembly. A species achieving FTL travel before developing unified planetary governance was unprecedented. The implications were both thrilling and terrifying. As the second session drew to a close, High Commissioner Rylix scheduled an emergency debate for the next cycle. The assembly had witnessed humanity's story, but interpreting it proved as complex as the species itself. Zenith watched the representatives file out, their various forms betraying their agitation. In just one day of presentation, humanity had managed to divide the galaxy's most stable political body. Perhaps that, too, was a sign of their unique influence on the cosmos. The private chambers of the Galactic Council's inner circle thrummed with tense energy as the most influential members gathered for an unprecedented emergency session. The previous day's revelation about humanity had sparked a crisis that threatened to shatter millennia of unified cosmic governance. Supreme Arbiter Nyx, an ancient being composed of dark matter, materialized in the center of the chamber. Our unity faces its greatest test. For the first time in 50,000 cycles, we cannot reach consensus on a pre-contact species. Floating screens displayed real-time data from Earth. Humans had just successfully tested their first quantum entanglement communication system, another milestone reached decades ahead of predictions. Ambassador Drell's mechanical form vibrated with concern. They're advancing too quickly. The Silicon Consciousness has run billions of simulations. Every scenario where humanity joins the galactic community too early leads to catastrophic change. Change isn't necessarily catastrophic, countered High Minister Lyra, her plasma-based form pulsing with passionate colors. The Organic Coalition sees tremendous potential. Humanity's adaptability could help us solve problems that have plagued our civilization for eons. The debate was interrupted by a priority alert from the observation team still monitoring Earth. A group of human scientists had detected unusual quantum fluctuations, traces of the Council's cloaked observation posts. This proves my point, Drell insisted. They're already sensing our presence through technology they shouldn't have for centuries. The quarantine protocols must be implemented immediately. But the situation grew more complex as new data streamed in. The human scientists weren't responding with fear or aggression to these unknown signatures. Instead, they were attempting to establish communication through an ingenious combination of quantum signals and mathematical sequences. Research Director Cora's holographic form flickered as they shared their analysis. They're not just detecting us, they're trying to talk to us. The message patterns suggest they've already theorized the existence of a galactic community. The chamber erupted in overlapping discussions. Some members saw this development as proof that humanity was ready for contact. Others viewed it as a dangerous sign of their uncanny intuition and technological acceleration. There's something else, Zenith added, their tendrils weaving complex patterns of concern. We've detected a significant anomaly in their scientific development. A human researcher named Dr. Patel has independently derived equations that suggest the existence of our quantum fold transportation network. This revelation sent shockwaves through the chamber. The quantum fold network was the foundation of galactic civilization, allowing near-instantaneous travel between star systems. That humans could theorize its existence through pure mathematics was unprecedented. How much time do we have? Supreme Arbiter Nix asked, their dark matter form condensing with gravity. Based on current progression rates, they will achieve preliminary quantum fold capability within 5 years, Cora reported. Once they do, our entire network will become visible to them. The implications were staggering. Humanity would not only discover the galactic community but would immediately understand how to access its most crucial infrastructure. The political and security ramifications were incalculable. High Commissioner Rylix called for an immediate vote on implementing temporary containment measures, but they were blocked by the Organic Coalition. The deadlock deepened as more factions took sides. Meanwhile, the screens showed Dr. Patel and her team making another breakthrough. They had begun constructing a prototype device based on their theoretical work, a primitive but functional quantum fold detector. "We're out of time," Zenith announced. "The humans are about to prove their equations correct. When they do, they'll detect our entire civilization." The inner circle faced an impossible choice. Traditional protocols demanded quarantine of any species that developed too quickly, but humanity's development was so far beyond normal parameters that existing procedures seemed inadequate. As the debate reached its peak, a new voice entered the discussion. The archivists, ancient beings who rarely participated in political matters, requested to share historical data. "There is a pattern here that none have noticed," the archivist's consciousness echoed through the chamber. "In our records of extinct civilizations, we find mentions of another species that showed similar traits to humans. They were called the precursors." The chamber fell silent. The precursors were mythical figures in galactic history, believed to have seeded the earliest forms of intelligent life throughout the cosmos before mysteriously vanishing. "Are you suggesting?" High Minister of Lyra's form flickered with excitement. "We are suggesting that humanity's unprecedented development may not be random. Their genetic structure contains markers we've only seen in fragments of precursor artifacts." This revelation transformed the entire debate. If humans were somehow linked to the precursors, their extraordinary abilities might be more than just random evolution. It could be the resurgence of something ancient and powerful. As the third session drew to a close, the council remained divided, but the nature of their debate had fundamentally changed. They were no longer simply deciding the fate of a young species, they were potentially witnessing the return of something that had shaped the galaxy itself. Zenith watched the proceedings with growing concern. Tomorrow's final vote would determine not just humanity's fate, but perhaps the future of galactic civilization itself. And somewhere on Earth, unknowing humans continued pushing the boundaries of possibility, drawing ever closer to a discovery that would change everything. Dr. Ayesha Patel stood before her quantum detection array, her heart racing as she reviewed the latest data. The patterns were undeniable, something vast and artificial was hidden in the space around Earth, its presence masked by technology far beyond human understanding. Meanwhile, in the secure depths of the Galactic Council's Emergency Command Center, alarms blared. Observer Zenith and their team watched in astonishment as human quantum sensors began penetrating their most sophisticated cloaking systems. "Impossible," muttered Senior Analyst VYX, their crystalline form clouding with stress patterns. "They've bypassed security protocols that took our civilization millennia to develop." The situation had reached a critical point. Dr. Patel's team wasn't just detecting the Council's presence, they were beginning to map the quantum fold network with increasing accuracy. Each hour brought them closer to understanding the true nature of the galaxy around them. In the Council's primary chamber, the emergency session had devolved into chaos. The Silicon Consciousness faction was demanding immediate intervention, while the Organic Coalition argued for peaceful first contact. The revelation about humanity's possible connection to the precursors had only intensified the debate. "We've detected another anomaly," Research Director Cora announced, interrupting the heated discussions. "The humans aren't just mapping our network, they're unconsciously resonating with it. Their quantum experiments are creating harmonics we've only seen in precursor technology." The implications stunned the assembly. Humanity wasn't just discovering the network, they were inherently attuned to it in ways that suggested deep genetic memory of its construction. Back on Earth, Dr. Patel made her own startling discovery. Hidden within the quantum fluctuations were patterns that matched theoretical models of non-human intelligence she had developed years ago. "We're not alone," she whispered to her colleague, Dr. James Okonjo. "And they're watching us." Instead of fear, her team responded with increased determination. They began broadcasting complex mathematical sequences into the quantum field, attempting to initiate contact. The messages were elegant in their simplicity: prime numbers, geometric sequences, and finally, a question encoded in pure mathematics: "Who are you?" The Council's observation team was thrown into disarray. Protocol dictated immediate withdrawal, but the humans' approach was so unique that it demanded response. Their messages showed not just intelligence, but a fundamental understanding of cosmic principles that most species took centuries to grasp. "There's more," Zenith reported to the Council. "We've analyzed Dr. Patel's genetic structure. She carries the highest concentration of precursor markers we've ever seen. Her intuitive understanding of quantum mechanics isn't just genius, it's genetic memory expressing itself." The council chambers erupted in new debates. Some saw this as proof that humanity needed to be guided and protected. Others feared it meant humans could eventually access powers that even the council didn't fully understand. Meanwhile, Dr. Patel made another breakthrough. Her team had detected a pattern in the quantum background radiation that suggested an entire network of faster-than-light travel points. More surprisingly, they had begun to understand how to access them. "The networks respond to consciousness," she explained to her astonished colleagues. "It's not just about the technology, it's about the intention of the user. We're not just observing it, we're part of it." In the council chambers, the archivists presented new historical data that shook the foundations of galactic society. The precursors didn't vanish, they revealed. They seeded themselves throughout the galaxy, hiding their legacy in the genetic code of promising species. Humanity isn't just discovering our network, they're remembering how to use it. The implications were staggering. Humanity wasn't just another emerging civilization, they were potentially the heirs to the most advanced species the galaxy had ever known. Their rapid development wasn't just evolution, it was awakening. As if to prove this point, Dr. Patel's team activated their prototype quantum fold detector. The device didn't just detect the network, it began to interface with it, responding to human thoughts and intentions in ways that should have been impossible. "We have to act now," Supreme Arbiter Nix declared. "Either we guide humanity's awakening, or we risk losing control of the very foundations of our civilization." But before the council could vote, Dr. Patel made the decision for them. Her team had localized the quantum signatures of the observation post on Luna. In a moment of inspiration, or perhaps ancestral memory, she directed her prototype device toward it, establishing the first direct quantum link between humanity and the galactic community. The message she sent was simple but profound: "We know you're there. We're ready to talk. Let's build the future together." The Council's carefully laid plans for humanity's evaluation had been shattered. The question was no longer whether to make contact, but how to handle a species that was rapidly remembering its true heritage as descendants of the galaxy's greatest civilization. The Grand Assembly Hall had never witnessed such tension in its millennia of existence. Dr. Patel's quantum message had forced the Council's hand, shattering protocols that had governed galactic civilization for countless generations. Supreme Arbiter Nix's dark matter form pulsed with unprecedented urgency. "We face a moment that will reshape the galaxy. Humanity hasn't simply discovered us, they've begun to remember who they truly are." The massive screens surrounding the chamber displayed real-time data from Earth. Dr. Patel's team had already begun modifying their quantum fold detector, guided by what seemed to be instinctive knowledge. Their progress suggested that full network access was hours, not years, away. "We've detected something else," Research Director Cora announced, their energy form flickering with excitement. "The precursor markers in human DNA are becoming more active. It's as if their contact with the quantum network is triggering a dormant genetic memory. Ambassador Drell of the Silicon Consciousness rose to address the assembly. This is precisely why we advocated for quarantine. A species remembering precursor knowledge without proper guidance could devastate the cosmic order. Or restore it to its original glory, countered High Minister Lyra. The precursors built a galaxy of wonders. If humanity carries their legacy, they might help us understand technologies we've only preserved but never truly comprehended. The debate was interrupted by a new transmission from Earth. Dr. Patel's team had successfully activated a stable quantum fold corridor, something that should have been technologically impossible for them. But more shocking was what they discovered through it. They found the archive, Zenith announced, their tendrils trembling. Somehow, they've located the precursor's central database, a discovery that eluded us for millennia. The chamber fell silent as Dr. Patel's voice echoed through the quantum link, speaking in perfect galactic standard. We understand now. The precursors didn't vanish, they evolved. They seated themselves across the galaxy, waiting for the right combination of conditions to reawaken. We are not just their descendants, we are them, reborn through evolution and time. The assembly watched in awe as humans across Earth began displaying signs of awakening precursor abilities. Artists suddenly understood multidimensional geometry. Children dreamed of ancient star maps. Scientists made intuitive leaps that bridged gaps in physics that had puzzled the galaxy's finest minds for generations. It was never about judging humanity's readiness, the archivist's consciousness resonated through the chamber. The precursors designed this moment. They knew that only by evolving through hardship, by developing in isolation, could their legacy truly survive and grow into something new. High Commissioner Rylix called for the final vote, but with a fundamental change in the question at hand. We are not voting on whether to accept humanity into the galactic community, they declared. We are voting on whether we will accept their help in building its next chapter. The vote was unprecedented in Council history, unanimous. Even the Silicon Consciousness agreed that humanity's awakening was not a threat but an opportunity. The precursors had not abandoned the galaxy, they had invested in its future through the human species. Dr. Patel's next transmission crystallized this truth. Her team had deciphered the precursor's final message: to our descendants, we gave you conflict so you would learn strength, isolation so you would learn independence, and challenges so you would never stop growing. You carry not just our knowledge, but our hope for what the galaxy can become. The Council's decision was formalized. Humanity would not be quarantined or merely accepted, they would be welcomed as the lost children of the galaxy's founders, bringing with them the wisdom of the precursors tempered by their unique human experiences and innovations. As the assembly concluded, observer Zenith reflected on their centuries studying humanity. We thought we were evaluating them, they mused to Cora. In truth, they were completing a journey that began at the dawn of our civilization. On Earth, as the first official contact began, humans worldwide felt an ancient knowledge stirring within them, not overwhelming their identity, but enriching it. They were still human, but now they understood their place in a grand design eons in the making. The galaxy held its breath as humanity took its first steps into a future where they would help guide the civilization their ancestors had built. The universe hadn't refused humans, it had been waiting for them all along. Dr. Patel stood at her quantum array, watching the first diplomatic ships emerge from the quantum fold network. She smiled, feeling both the weight of ancient knowledge and the excitement of new discoveries yet to come. We're ready, she transmitted to the approaching vessels. Let's begin.